Hi there, it's Mrs. Hogan. Sorry I can't be with you guys today for your introduction to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. We're going to do this screen recording reading together, and I want you guys to please make the same annotations on your paper as I have on the introduction reading. So you should be following along in Schoology. The first activity you're going to do is you're going to watch National Geographic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and then Sleepy Hollow, New York honors author Washington Irving's spooky influence. So by the time you're listening to this screen recording, you should have number 1 done, okay? We are at number 2 for this screen recording. Introduction: The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. In the early years of the 19th century, America was still a young nation searching for a literary identity that reflected its own culture rather than Europe's. Washington Irving, born in 1783 in New York City, became one of the first writers to achieve that goal. He was drawn to the rhythms of everyday American life, the speech of ordinary people, and the folklore whispered in small towns and the landscapes that shaped early communities. His writing combined gentle humor, superstition, and vivid local color, helping to establish an American voice in literature. Looking at the first footnote, when we talk about the 19th century, we're talking about the 1800s. Okay, so whenever you see 19th century, 18th century, take what's in print and move it back 100 years. Okay? Folklore. That's the traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community passed from one generation to the next. When we talk about superstition, we're talking about widely held but unjustified belief in the supernatural. Things like 13 is an unlucky number, or black cats are bad luck. Things like that are superstitions that have no justifiable reason to be believed. Irving's short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, was published in 1820 as part of his book, The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Cannon, Ghent, a collection that also included Rip Van Winkle. Both stories are set in the Hudson River Valley of New York, a region known for its misty woods and deep colonial roots. The valley had been settled by the Dutch in the 1600s, and even by Irving's time, its villages still carried traces of Old World tradition, from their church steeples to their Dutch names and their eerie ghost stories told by candlelight. We have a footnote here, number 4, about Dutch in the 1600s. Think back to what we learned in chapters 3 and 4, where we discussed New York, which was originally called New Amsterdam because it was settled by the Dutch before the British occupied and took over the colony. The story begins in a secluded glen called Sleepy Hollow, a place said to be bewitched. According to local legend, the valley is filled with an atmosphere of dreamlike stillness, where strange visions are common and ghostly figures wander after dark. The most famous of these is the Headless Horseman, rumored to be the spirit of a Hessian soldier who lost his head to a cannonball during the Revolutionary War. At night, he is said to ride through the hollow on a powerful horse, forever searching for what he lost. The dominant spirit, however, that haunts this enchanted region and seems to be commander-in-chief of all the powers of the air is the apparition of a figure on horseback without a head. That's a direct quote that we are going to read together tomorrow. Footnote 5, a glen. A glen is just a narrow valley. It's just a geography term. A Hessian soldier. Footnote number 6, a German soldier that was paid to fight for the British during the American Revolution. Into this strange and enchanted community comes Ichabod Crane, a school teacher from Connecticut. Tall, thin, and somewhat comical in appearance, Ichabod is educated and polite, but also deeply superstitious. He takes his meals with local families, teaches their children, and helps with farm chores to earn a few extra coins. He enjoys singing in the church choir and reading ghost stories, though those same tales often leave him trembling when he walks home alone. Ichabod is both ambitious and insecure, eager to rise above his modest means, yet easily unnerved by the supernatural tales that surround him. Ichabod's attention soon turns to Katrina Van Tassel, the only daughter of Baltus Van Tassel, a prosperous Dutch farmer. Katrina is admired through Sleepy Hollow for her beauty, cheerful nature, and fine clothes. She is used to being courted and enjoys the attention she receives. To Ichabod, Katrina represents everything he desires: comfort, respect, and a secure future. He imagines himself master of the Van Tassel farm, enjoying the pleasures of good food, rich land, and a loving household. But his dreams quickly face competition. Standing in Ichabod's way is Brom Van Brunt, better known as Brom Bones. He is the local hero, broad-shouldered, daring, and full of good humor. Brom is skilled with horses, quick with jokes, and adored by his friends. Where Ichabod is bookish and nervous, Brom is bold and confident. Their rivalry for Katrina's attention becomes one of the central tensions of the story. Brom teases Ichabod with harmless pranks, but his laughter always carries a hint of challenge. As Ichabod spends more time in Sleepy Hollow, he becomes increasingly entangled in the valley's atmosphere of rumor and superstition. The villagers love to share tales of ghostly encounters, and Ichabod listens to them with both fascination and fear. The autumn harvest season fills the town with feasting, music, and storytelling, a time when reality and legend seem to blur together. For Ichabod, these stories are more than entertainment. They feed his imagination and shape the way he sees the world around him. The legend of Sleepy Hollow captures a moment when early America was learning to balance reason and belief, progress and tradition. Irving uses humor and suspense to explore the difference between perception and truth, how fear, pride, and imagination can shape one's fate as powerfully as any ghost. More than 200 years later, Sleepy Hollow remains one of America's most enduring legends, reminding readers that the line between the real and the unreal can be as thin as the mist rising over the Hudson River. Be sure you answer all of the questions, and I will see all of you tomorrow.